Hello and welcome. I'm Svenja from Svenja Christina Photography and I love editing. Now, the image you see here was not an accident. I shot into the sun on purpose because I wanted to know if it is worth to even bother saving an image that looks like this. You know, when you're on a session and you're busily shooting away, it can happen that by accident you get a little bit too much sun flare into your image. And of course, that is the image with the best expression and the best pose. Am I right? Now we're going to try and find out to see if we can fix an image like that. And today we are in Lightroom. If you only have Photoshop, no need to worry. You can still follow along using Adobe Camera Raw. You will see me go back and forth between sliders a lot during this video, and that's because I want to let you in on my thought process and see how I decide on my next move. I hope this will be helpful to you when you make decisions for your own images. Now, do you have your coffee? Let's dive right in. Here we are in Lightroom. This is my blown out image as a RAW file, and I also saved it out as a JPEG to see if there are any differences in the recovery between a RAW file and a JPEG. My guess is there is, but let's find out. As you can see in the histogram here, there is a few things that are blown out. See the highlight when I click this in red? That's the part that's blown out. But the rest is not. You can probably salvage that quite a bit. The first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to use the black slider and I'm going to drag it down to the left. And as you can see, the image begins to get a lot more yellowy. So I'm going to stop right here and I'm going to go to my temperature slider. I'm going to bring the temperature down right about here. I'm going to bring the tint up a bit, maybe like here. And the next thing I'm going to do is use the dehaze slider because there is a lot of haze going on here. Okay, and now I'm seeing that my shadows, especially in this area here, they're getting quite dark, so I'm going to lighten them a bit. Yeah, right about here is fine. I'm also going to bring the exposure down just a tad. And I'm also going to fiddle with the temperature a little bit more. It could be a bit cooler still. Yeah, I like what I'm seeing here. It's quite a bit pink, so I'm going to have to adjust the tint slider as well. It's too green. Yeah, I think this would work. We'll see. I might adjust that later. I'm going to do some color grading now. This is a new feature in Lightroom. I'm going to start with the midtones. And I think in the midtones, I'm going to add like an orangey tone. Let's see. I'm going to do it differently. Still wobbly. I'm going to just adjust it that way. Let's see. Let's push this up. Something like that. Let's leave it at that. I can always come back and adjust later. So for the highlights, I'm thinking sunlight, yellow. So I'm going to move the hue slider to somewhere here. A nice yellow tone. And I'm going to adjust the saturation. Gradually so I can see the effects. Yeah, maybe something like that. And as for the shadows, I want a nice blue hue here. Not too purple, not too cyan. Something right in the middle. Okay, I think that's a bit too much because my hair has a bluish tint to it. And it's not blue in real life. Okay. I think I'm going to play with this slider a little bit more. What does it look like in this cyan? Yeah, right about here. I'm going to go back to my midtones. I'm going to play a bit more around there. I think I like that better. Okay, I might adjust that later on again, but for now, I'm going to see what it does when I'm going to move the contrast slider up. I think I'm going to bring the exposure down a little bit more. Something like that. And I'm going to go back into my midtones. Yeah, I think I like that a bit better. All right, let's see what else we can do up here. I'm going to try and bring those highlights down just a little bit. Something like that. And I will increase the whites to add a bit more punch, a bit more contrast in the highlights. And that looks pretty good to me. Let's see. Look at that. We went from this to this. And I'm actually pretty amazed that I got so much detail back. Now let's see how the JPEG file fares compared to the RAW file. I'm going to click on this JPEG file and then I'm going to click previous, which can be, oh my goodness. Do you see how yellow this is? Wow, I did not expect that. That is shocking. It copied all the settings. Yeah. Wow. So the previous feature has the nice setting. It's not. I am so amazed that I can't talk. The previous button has that nice feature that it copies everything that you did to the previous image to the next image. So it's really convenient. I'm gonna. Do you see this? This is the RAW file and this is the JPEG file. I did not expect it to be so yellow. Maybe if I bring down the yellow, no, there's just information missing. That is crazy. I expected a difference, but I didn't expect such a drastic difference. If you're ever on the fence as to whether to shoot JPEG or RAW, choose RAW because you have so much more flexibility with the RAW file. You can bring back so much more detail that would be lost in the JPEG file. As you can see with Lightroom alone, you can make a massive difference in bringing back an image that has too much sun flare, provided you shoot RAW. Next week, we'll be taking this image into Photoshop and see how we can enhance it from there. If you found this video helpful, please give me a thumbs up, and I would love it if you would subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions for me about this edit or any requests of what you would like me to cover on my channel next, please leave a comment below and I look forward to connecting with you that way. I will see you next week with part 2 in Photoshop this way. Thank you so much for watching and I look forward to seeing you next Tuesday. Until then, take care.